Hey there, it's Kevin Ward, and this is the 9th anniversary or 9th birthday of Yesmasters. We are celebrating our 9th. It was 9 years ago that I launched Yesmasters Coaching Company. And I'm just gonna, I'm reminiscing in this video. I'm gonna reminisce about it. I'm gonna talk about how fast everything in your life can change and how to change everything in your life. And I'm gonna give you 3 lessons that I learned, probably the 3 biggest lessons, the greatest lessons that I've learned building my own company for the first time. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the journey today. I'm gonna invite you, I've got a special webcast I'm doing as kind of to celebrate my anniversary, our company's anniversary. I'm gonna invite you to join me for a free webcast this Wednesday. The link is down below in the description, so you can register for that and join me for some free training. I'm gonna be doing some really cool stuff that I've never done before. I'm just gonna tell you that. But I want to just talk, this video is, it's not so much a real estate training video, it's just a video of reflections of how I found personal success. And I really like Gary Keller's definition of success. He says success is just having what you want. That's pretty simple, right? Success is just having what you want. And Earl Nightingale said success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal or a worthy goal. Okay, I'll go with that as well. But I just look at my life and say, do I love my life? Am I winning in all the areas of my life? And to me, if I am, that is success. So it was 9 years ago, that I started this coaching company. Now, when I started the coaching company, it wasn't actually called Yesmasters. It was not called Yesmasters. That idea, that name had not been born or even imagined yet. I didn't know what to call it. It was just me, and I was going to coach real estate agents. That was my dream. That's what I wanted to do, and it's what I'd really loved doing for years. And I did it as a manager of real estate brokerages. I'd owned my own brokerage in Texas before moving to California. But I'd always compromised with my dream, and I'd always made decisions based on being afraid of something not working out and hedging my bets. And this was going to be different. This time it was going to be my dream, my way. And so it started, I'm kind of going to go back, and this is just to go back to what started the transformation for me. In 2007, I started selling real estate back in 1998. Sold real estate for 7 years, like full time. It's all I did. Loved it. Burned my life to the ground. If you don't know my whole story, it's not a pretty story. Real estate success. I had real estate success quick. I started in 98, and by 2000, I sold over 100 homes in a year. And then I burned my life to the ground. I had an affair and went through a horrible divorce. And I say horrible, I mean, the divorce itself was not the problem. It was that I had 3 daughters and I just left. And so I devastated and destroyed my family. And so that put my life into a bad place for several years. And I just ground through it. What do? You survive. You just survive. In 2007, right before the economic collapse, I bought a real estate brokerage. And I had married again, and I bought that brokerage with my wife at the time. This was my second wife. And we did okay. We were doing really good until what we didn't realize was the week after we closed on the brokerage, buying the franchise, that the subprime mortgage market started the meltdown. It started collapsing, and I was just a precursor of things to come in 2007, 2008. And when you were in the middle of the collapse, you didn't really know what was going on as a real estate agent. We saw, the news and all that, but I was just like, you were just grinding head down, pounding away. And things were getting tougher and things were changing, and we're like, what do we do? And so finally, I basically merged that. I'm going to say I merged my company with a big brokerage, and got out of that, and just managed to get out with the shirt on my back, so to speak. And it was just the way it went. So I in 2009, I was back kind of on my own and going like, what am I going to do? And I actually started a coaching company. In 2008, 2009. It was late 2008. I actually started a coaching company. And then I decided to move to California and did it. But I was scared. I was scared of not being able to make enough money. And so I went and looked for a job, and I ended up going to work for a large brokerage out here in Southern California. And it was, here's the shift. Here's what had happened to me. I'd just gone into survival mode. Okay? This is what happened. Is I went from building and trying to do what I wanted to do to going into survival mode with the housing collapse and all that. Now people could tell this was going to be bad. This was not good, and I got an opportunity to take a job. The pay was not great, but I felt like it had opportunity, but it wasn't my dream. It wasn't what I wanted. It was survival. I took the decision to survive, to pay the bills, and I barely survived. And then I switched from that position and became a team leader and CEO of a Keller Williams office, and that's what got me to the beach. I moved to Hermosa Beach, California, in 2010, November 2010, and but I was still just doing a job. It was still basically 8 to 5, or for me it was 7 to 5 more. And I just wasn't pursuing my dream. I was making, it looked like I was making a 6-figure income, but it was barely a 6-figure income, and it was just, more ego-based than anything else. And I liked a part of what I did, but it wasn't what I wanted. It was not. I was still surviving. And in October of 2011, I was just frustrated. And things weren't going the way I wanted. I was just stuck. And I realized, you know what? You're just surviving, Ward. You have spent the last 4 years in survival mode. And you guys watching this, some of you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've been in that situation where, things were tough and you just went into survival mode. And you can people spend their entire life in survival mode. And that is just you do go to the job, pay the bills, go to work, pay the bills. I'd met Julie, who's now my wife, and we were dating, and we wanted to travel. We wanted to do things, but I didn't have any money. And so, our vacations, our trips, were weekend getaways where I bought a tent, and we would go camping up in the mountains, San Bernardino Mountains, and that's what we did. Pay $30 a night for a camping site, take my own tent, my own car, and we go up and camp out. That was our vacation. That was our travel. That was our vacations. That was all we could afford. That was it. And I'm like, this has got to change. In October of 2011, I just started studying again. And I'm like, I'm going to start growing again. And one of the significant things that I did was I started journaling. On October of 2011, I started journaling. And it just started making me introspective and looking at my life and go like, this is not what I want. And then in November of 2000, at the end of October actually, I went to an event that I got a free ticket to. It's called Millionaire Mind Intensive. It was a T. Harv Eker event. He wasn't actually the one doing it. Another guy was named Adam Markell that became one of my first mentors for a period of time, that really started helping me change my mindset from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And that's not a quick change. It wasn't for me anyway. I had this deeply ingrained issue with money and having it. And I could make it, I just didn't know how to keep it. I didn't know how to enjoy it and come from a place of abundance. I still came from scarcity. Money doesn't grow on trees, and having too much money is bad, and all this kind of stuff. And if you can relate to this, give me a thumbs up. Let me see, and put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story about money. But mine was scarcity. It was that, and it was not really said that way, but it was just like, if you have too much money, you're probably a bad person. You're probably greedy. You're probably taking advantage of people. It'll make you materialistic and worldly and all that. And I just thought about money all the time because I didn't have enough. And as I look back now, I'm like, there's nobody who is more money focused. And, people say money is not that important to me. When when you don't have enough money, it's all you think about. You're obsessed with money because you don't have enough and you got to make it. I was always figuring out how to pay the bills and just trying to make ends meet. And it was just a constant struggle, a constant nightmare. So I went to this event called Millionaire Mind Intensive. And it was like, boom, okay, this is making sense to me. This is like, got it. And then the next weekend, I had actually gotten tickets for Julie and I to go to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within in Los Angeles, California. And because I was a team leader at Keller Williams, I'd been able to bring in their sales guys, their peak performance strategist, who came in and did this awesome performance. His name was Lee Asher, great guy. If we sold enough tickets, then I would get a special discount for my ticket, and then I could get a buy one, get one free, and a free upgrade. And so I'm like, okay, I did it, put it on credit card, and got a ticket. So Julie and I went to one weekend, we went to Millionaire Mind Intensive to help me deal with my money mindset. And the next weekend we went to Unleash the Power Within, which changes everything for you. Because you go to this 4-day crazy event and you learn so much, but you get really convicted about your own power and your own dreams and doing what you want. And I told Julie at that event, I said, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start coaching. I'm going to start coaching again, and that's what I was going to do. And so that was the first week in November of 2011. And so later that month, I gave notice to Keller Williams, to the OP, the operating owner, that I was quitting. And I'm like, you find a replacement, I'll stay on, until you find a replacement, because I didn't have any other income. But I just, I felt like it was the right thing to do to let them know that I was going to start coaching. Well, they're like, okay, cool. And then that was full of drama. But long story short, I'd started building a YouTube channel, which you're probably watching this on YouTube. And I'd started posting training videos for not only my agents in my office, but also as a part of my recruiting for getting other agents to come to the company. I'd say, hey, here's one of our sales meetings. You can kind of see how our sales meetings go and all that kind of stuff. And but what I found out was agents were looking on YouTube for help for how to succeed in real estate. And so I'd gotten allowed to get a lot of people. I was getting more views. I was getting thumbs up, comments. And so through a program that I signed up for with Julie, with my girlfriend, my wife now, my girlfriend at the time, we signed up for this program that we heard about at Millionaire Mind Intensive, and I went to this thing called the Ultimate Internet Boot Camp. Now this was in February of 2012 now. February 2012. People are watching my YouTube videos. I'm like, okay, great, this is awesome. And then somebody goes like, you need to learn how to make money with this. If you're going to start a coaching company, this was just that conversation that was going on mostly in my head. And so I went to this thing called Ultimate Internet Boot Camp, and it was how to build a website and get people to come to your website and sign up for a free download, a free training, and then you could get them to sign up for something and give you money. And so that's what I went to this Ultimate Internet Boot Camp, and I created this ebook on procrastination, I think, and I sold it for $1 online, and I sold like 3 of them. But as I was building it at the Ultimate Internet Boot Camp, I was learning how to do this, and I'm like, this is it. This is the path. This is how I'm going to start the coaching company. People watching my YouTube videos, I'm going to give them I'm going to let them register for a free set of deep dive training videos on how to get more listing appointments, which is what I did. And by the way, if you're watching this while I'm doing this on Wednesday, April the 14th, I'm going to be doing a free live masterclass or webcast on how to master listings in 2021, how to get more listing appointments right now, because listings are everything and there's not enough of them, and finding good sellers. How do you do that? That's what I'm going to be training on. So anyway, I created this free training that you could opt in for and get these free training videos. They sucked. The videos were shot on this little thing called a flip camera, and the audio was terrible and it was horrible, but it was how I started. And I probably need to go back and publish those videos. Those videos are still on YouTube, I think, but I think they're unlisted. I may go back and do that. I may put the links to a couple of them in here. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure if I can, but I'm going to try to see if I can do that. And so I figured out that I could get people to go to my website, giving me their email address to get these free videos, which is what we did. And this is called a funnel. We got people to opt in, and then we could send them emails. And as this all evolved, this plan evolved, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna start a coaching program. I didn't know how to do it, and I now had probably 400 or 500 people, or maybe a couple of hundred people that had actually, agents that had opted in on my website. So I had an email list of a couple of hundred people. And so I invited them to this, my very first webinar, which at the time there was, I didn't have any money. I was broke. I was having my last month of paycheck from Keller Williams as a team leader, and they had cut my paycheck in half because I was only working part-time, because they knew I was I was trying to figure out how to start a coaching company. So now I'm not making enough money to even pay the bills, but it's a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I got to get going. So this was urgency. And so they had just come out with this thing in 2012 called Google Hangouts. And you guys remember Google Hangouts? And Google Hangouts, I could actually go live on Google Hangout, and give people the link, and they could come, and I could talk to them live, and they could hear me and see me and all that. So that was my first webinar on April 10th, and this April 10th of 2012, 9 years ago. And I did my first webinar, my first Google Hangout. And I offered, at the end of that, I made an offer for a coaching program. It was a group coaching program. I don't remember what I called it. I think I called it the New Experts Coaching or something like that, or Expert Coaching. I think maybe an Expert Coaching. It wasn't Mastery Coaching yet at the time. But it was basically the precursor to my Mastery Coaching program, and I offered it for $89.95 a month. $89.95 a month. And I had 9 agents sign up. One of those that signed up is still in my inner circle to today. Michelle Velasco, having her best year ever this year. She signed up for it, and a couple others that I think are still here today that signed up in the coming weeks after that first launch, but she was one of the first ones. But anyway, so I made $89.95, $90 times 9. I made about $800. I made $800 the day on April 10th, 2012, when I started this coaching company. Again, it wasn't called Yesmasters at the time. I created the website. It was called kevinnow.com. kevinnow.com. I don't even know if the website's still alive. I still own the domain, but I don't even know what's there. So that was in April of 2012. In May, I got my last paycheck at Keller Williams, and it was now a full-time coach. And so I was doing weekly coaching calls, and I was working on doing more videos, YouTube videos, and getting more people, and getting ready for my next webinar and all that. The only problem was, after May, I only was making about, that $900, which was a recurring thing, so $900 a month. Now to get a few more coaching members, but I'm still making less than $2,000 a month. My rent is more than $2,000 a month. I have child support. I have debt. I have bills. I have a car. I mean, it's, you got all this kind of stuff. And so July, that was in April, May, June, July, ran out of money. Completely ran out of money, ran out of credit cards. I had nothing. And I couldn't pay the rent. This was the 1st of July. So I managed to not do anything about it, like ignore it, deny it. Everything's held. And then in August, the 1st of August, Julie came home to our apartment, and she found the eviction notice on the door. And that was the day everything blew up, and she's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me this, blah, blah, blah. We had an eviction notice. We had to be out in 2 weeks, and I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't have any money. And anyway, long story short, we ended up breaking up, and that's a long story. She was just basically, and I've been in a relationship before where I had to pay all the bills, and my husband would not work, and if I'm not going to, I promised myself I would never go there again. And if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of me? And so she was also selling real estate, so she had a little money. She was not destitute, but I had not told her what was going on. I mean, she knew about the coaching company. She just didn't know that I wasn't paying the bills. So, which, guys, is not okay, right? So I went and I basically lost everything except my clothes and my car. And I rented a bedroom, an unfurnished bedroom in Playa Vista, California, an old rundown apartment complex on St. Bernard Street, built in the 1960s or 70s, and it was just a piece of crap. But there was a lady there that I had met in the past who had a 3-bedroom apartment, and she had an 18-year-old autistic son, and she was a single mom, and she had this extra bedroom that she used to rent out. And so I called her and I said, hey, any chance that your bedroom is available to rent? And she said, I don't do that anymore. I had a bad experience. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she said, well, who's it for? And I said, well, it's actually for me. And she goes like, okay, well, for you, since I know you, come on. And she rented the bedroom to me for $200 a month. This started in August of 2012. So I start my coaching company in April, but by August, I've lost everything. This is the journey. So people think, well, I start my real estate, and when's am I going to start making money, and how's it going to go, and all this kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you, here's the thing. If you're not willing to do whatever it takes, if you're not willing to go through pain, if you're not willing to go backwards in order to go forward, it's not going to go well. And so I finally was like, and this video is getting really long. I just realized this, so I'm going to start moving a little faster here. She rented it to me for $200 a month. I slept. The only thing I had was an air mattress that we used to use when we go camping out. I took the air mattress, and when I got ready to blow it up the first night, it was funny as I rolled it all out, and I'm like, there's no batteries. And it was a camping air mattress, so you didn't plug it in. It was just batteries, and I didn't have any batteries. So it's like 10 o'clock at night because I didn't want to go, and I'm like, what do I do? And I had to go find an open store, which is not hard in Los Angeles, and buy D batteries, which every expense right now was like precious money. It was like, oh no. So I had to buy 8 batteries and go back and air it up and sleep on an air mattress. It was just bad. But here's the thing, I wouldn't give up my dream. And for the next 8 months, I lived on an air mattress. I slept on an air mattress in an unfurnished bedroom, and while I built this coaching company. And in January, so that was in August, by January I went to another free event I got a ticket to, and I was just going to anything I could get a free event to, and it was an event called Big Money Speaker, and I'm like, I'm a speaker, how do I make money speaking? And so I went and listened to this guy, and I'm like, this guy is good, and he was. And I'm like, I got to hire whatever he's offering as a coach, I'm going to hire him. And it was $15,000 for the year, and to sign up for the first month's payment, I didn't have that much money. I didn't have a credit card. All my credit cards were maxed out. My credit was in the toilet from the economic collapse. And so I took all the money out of my business account, all the money in my bank account, my 2 debit cards, and I said, here, put X amount on this, and then put the rest of it on this for my first $1,500 payment. And I had less than $100 left in the bank after that was done. All to my name, less than $100. But I knew I had to do it. And so my coach, James, he really, really helped me get focused, get clear what to do. And that was in January. By April, I was making enough money that I was able to move out of the bedroom, and Julia and I got a condo, and we got back together. And she supported me through this whole process. She just was like, you got to figure this out. And which was great because it forced me to depend only on me, because I had been bailed out by my parents in the past. And if you've ever been bailed out, it doesn't make you stronger, it makes you weaker. And just for those of you that are watching this that are parents, don't bail your children out of financial struggle. Let them struggle. They need the struggle, it's where they learn self-reliance. It's where they create self-image. It's where they learn to believe in themselves and realize, I can figure this out. It may be painful, but we want our kids to avoid pain, and so we rescue them when we shouldn't rescue them, because they're not dying, they're just struggling. Let them struggle. In the struggle comes the strength. And so that was in April. In August, I created this program, this new coaching program called the 100-Day List Master Challenge, and I launched it in July of 2013. Now this is a year and 3 months May, June, July, a year and 3 months after I started the coaching company. And that launch of the challenge I made $60,000 in a week. Now I had a partner at the time who was my marketing guy, and so I had to pay half of that to him, but I made enough money that it got me that was the last time I was ever broke. It was July of, by August when I actually saw the money, it was August of 2013. And since that day, I have never been broke again, and will never be broke again. Just because I've changed everything about how I think, about my life, about my mindset from scarcity to abundance, and I take more care of my money. But here's the thing. First, thank you for watching this. Thank you if you've been one of my coaching members or ever been to one of my events or have one of my online courses. Thank you for allowing me to follow my passion and as a coach and build this real estate company, this coaching company that has changed thousands of agents' lives, has changed my life, my family's life, and has given me the greatest honors of my entire life. And the most fulfilling thing I've ever done is building Yesmasters. It was, by the way, it was 2013, a year later was when we changed the name from Kevin Now, because that was like, what's that about, to Yesmasters, to helping you master getting yes without the BS. And that was when that change happened, was in 2013. All right, so here's what I want to tell you. Three things, the three greatest lessons that I learned through this process. Number one is to fight for your dream and never settle. I had spent too many years afraid to follow my dream of being a real estate coach because I wanted to make sure I had a paycheck. And now I was going to be depending on myself and doing something that I didn't know how to do. I didn't have anybody teach me to do it. When I started real estate, at least it was kind of like this was a business that you knew people could teach you what to do, and you do this and you're gonna make money. So I did it, but as a coach, who are you gonna get to coach you to do this? So I had to figure it out mostly on my own, and when I did get a coach that could help me, he wasn't in real estate, which was fine. He did help me to coach, and it was through that really helped me do it. But it was at a moment in time, that fall of 2011, when I said, this is my dream, and I'm gonna go get my dream. One more time, I'm going to fight for my dream, and this time I'm going to fight for it. I'm not going to give it up. I will never settle, and I will never give up my dream again, because I spent most of my life giving up dreams when the going got tough. And so the greatest lesson that I learned is to have the courage to stand up, fight for your dream, and never quit and never settle. Number two is to surround yourself with people that can help you succeed. To surround yourself with people that will support you and help you succeed. For me, it was first Julie. Even though when I started the coaching company, it went bad for a while, but she never quit supporting me. And she always believed in me. And she always did, she would try to help me, and she did help me. She now is the CEO of the company. She runs the company. She has been the greatest gift, the greatest asset, the greatest blessing I could have ever imagined. As one of my mentors said, he said, you always need that person. And you need a Julie. You need that person that has always got your back, will always fight for you, will always believe in you, will always support you, will help you, will give you feedback, will tell you the truth, and that's Julie. So you got to surround yourself with people like that. The second thing is I surrounded myself with coaches and mentors. Hired coaches. I've hired I don't know how many coaches, but I just at different areas of my business where I'm like, I need help here, that's what I'm going to do. So I had, my first coach was James. I had another mentor, Adam Markell. I've had coaches and mentors, Bo Eason, Mel Abraham, Roger Love, James Friel. These have been some of the great, and I know I'm leaving some out, Tim Adams, some of the great, these are great men who got not only, are they good at what they do? In most of the cases, they're the best in the world at what they do, but they also have a life. I'm like, their whole life is the way I want it to be. And you got to surround yourself with mentors and coaches. And these are people that I pay, and I've had other coaches too. Those are probably the most significant ones, and I may be leaving somebody out. And I feel awful if I am, but I can't remember who else it would be. And then just positive association. You just got to get yourself, build friendships with people that have what you want, that have, if you want to make a certain amount of money, surround yourself with people that are making more money than you. Surround yourself with people that believe, some people that believe in themselves, that understand the process. If you want to have a great marriage, surround yourself with people that have great marriages. And so Julie and I made a commitment. We were going to only hang out with people that had the dreams, had the lifestyle, had the business, had the whole life package like we wanted. And that was a major change for us. So number 2 is surround yourself with people who make you better, people who help you succeed. And then number 3, the third greatest lesson that I have learned in 9 years since starting this journey is you're in a marathon, not a sprint. That you are in a marathon, not a sprint. When you are going after your dream, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 3 weeks or 3 months. And I think one of the greatest principles that I have learned is we overestimate what we can do in 3 months, and we underestimate what we can do in 3 years. And the promise that I started making to my coaching members was, I said, if you'll go with me on this journey, when they sign up for my coaching, if you'll go with me on this journey and do exactly what I train you to do, 3 years from now, you will not recognize your life. Because that's what happened to me. Now, a year after starting my coaching company, I was making money. 15 months after starting my coaching company, I was making good money. I was still tight. I still had massive amounts of debt, but 3 years, 2015, I started in 2012. And on March the 8th of 2015, which was 2 years and 11 months after starting the coaching company, Julie and I had the wedding of our dreams. I was able to buy her the engagement ring of her dreams, and everything was different. Our life was different. Our lifestyle was different. We didn't have stress. We didn't have financial stress. I'd paid off all my debt, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and it was all paid off. And we were traveling. We had lifestyle. We were able to buy things, do stuff, and give money and help people. And I look back, and every 3 years, and this is now 9 years, so I look back the first 3 years, 2015, wow, our life was totally different. 2018, wow, our life was so different. What we were able to do, where we will be able to go, the kind of trips we will be able to make. Another mentor that I had was a guy named Dan Pena. Getting to train with some people like that, Brenda Bouchard. These are now all coming to my head. But every time our life has just gone to a whole new level. And now, even with the pandemic, which was tough for everybody. And after that, 2021 is things are just, our life gets better and better and better. And don't sell yourself short because you haven't had the success you want after 3 weeks or 3 months or 6 months. It took me 8 months from the time I started. Well, it was a year. So it was in April. By the way, 1 year after I started the coaching company, April of 2012, April 2013 was the month that I was able to move out of the unfurnished bedroom and stop sleeping on an air mattress. It took a year later, and I'd still been sleeping on an air mattress, unfurnished bedroom. By then, I'd bought an IKEA little table and chairs and had a dorm refrigerator. That's a totally different story for a different time. But yeah, it took a year before I was really, where I would say, not buried in the hole. I hated that year. It was miserable. It was painful. I felt like a poser. I felt like a fake, because I was training agents how to be successful, and I'd been successful as a real estate agent, but as a coach, I felt like I was good. I just was broke. I was in the hole. It felt like if they knew, it was like I knew that if they knew where I was sleeping, if they knew how broke I was, if they knew how little money was in my bank account, who would listen to me? But it was my dream. And I was committed. I was committed to becoming the best in the world at what I did, and I would not give it up, and I would not quit. So I just want to say, thank you. Thank you for watching this, for allowing me to give my gift. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your thoughts about this story. I'm sure I'll get a few haters that'll, they're going to listen. This is their first video to listen to me, and so be watching for that in the comments. I'm sure that's, and if you hear that and you know me, you can just tell them what your experience has been. But I want to hear your thoughts, your story, and what your greatest struggles have been. But fight for your dreams. Surround yourself with people who support you and help you be more successful. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And then finally, I want to just invite you to join me. I'm going to be doing this free training, this free masterclass called Mastering Listings in Winning the Listing Game. I think it's called Winning the Listing Game. Whatever it is, it's going to be how to master listings in 2021 in today's market, in this time of no inventory and sellers seem like nobody wants to move and just buyers. How do you win? How do you find the listings and get the listings? And that's what I'm going to be training you on the 5 secrets to doing that. So the link is down below. You can go to www.howtogetyes.com to register for that. And that will be this Wednesday, April 14th. It'll be live. And I will see you on that webcast. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support and allowing me to share my journey and my wisdom and my coaching to help hopefully make your business and your life better. So have a great weekend, play to win, and always expect yes.